Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me here. This reading is going to be the energy of the solar eclipse new moon in Gemini that's happening on June 10th. And yeah, let's just get right into it. I pulled some Black Moon astrology cards to see like astrologically what the theme is. And it's pretty intense. Like, full moons are usually known to be intense, and I think a lot of people notice them more so because it's like stuff comes to the surface and it's easily felt. But new moons are just as potent and powerful. But the thing about the new moon is that it's a little bit more subtle. I don't say it's subtle. It's the dark or the new moon, which means dark is like shadow energy. So it's a little bit darker, and I think it's easier for people not to pay attention to that stuff, or I think just as a society we have gotten really good at brushing things under the rug or ignoring our shadow aspect or whatever it is, the shadow staying in the shadow. So yeah, new moons are just as important, and this one specifically, because it's a solar eclipse, known as the ring of fire. So that means, and it's annular, which means that you're going to be able to see the ring. Like, the moon is going to be in front of the sun, so you'll still be able to see this, like the sun behind it with a ring around the moon. So yeah, that's what that means. And so the cards that came out first are Uranus, which represents genius, and I'm pretty sure Aquarius rules Uranus. And so I was reading about Uranus, and it is about intuition. It says genius, so it is about like technological advances, but it's also very humanitarian, which is Aquarius energy. And it is also about being objective and being emotionally detached from things, which is very Aquarius energy. So, but it's basically like having a lot of insights. It talked about psychic abilities and it also being very intense. Basically, if you are tapped in psychically or very intuitive, it can be very intense. It's not all great things, right? Like, if you think about, psychics and mediums, them tapping into energies of people who have passed over, or just otherworldly energies, it can be kind of scary, and it can be a little bit dark sometimes. Like, that, it represents all of it. And then what came out with it is the 8th house, which is about endings and beginnings. And so both are very intense energies. So this new moon is may be very intense. I know for me it already has been. And just the last few days, the energies I've been pulling are about illusions being shattered. So seeing what's real and what's not. And this card, the Uranus card, represents the Tower in the tarot, which is about destroying foundations that don't need to be there anymore. So if you think about it, that's what Aquarius energy is there to do, is to like, hey guys, we need to destroy this foundation. We need to get to the core of the issue and destroy this thing so that the planet, humanity, can evolve and build on top of it in a brand new way. That's very, very much Aquarius energy. That's what Uranus is. And that's why it's called genius. And then it was even talking about years ago, people who were what did they say, transgender, and I think they said homosexual, but something to that effect, were known as Uranians because they were there basically to shatter all of our outdated beliefs about who we can be and who we can love and all of that stuff. So it could be very intense. I feel like I have to sneeze, so sorry. My nose. And then this is a lot of Scorpio vibes too. It's about transformation. So Scorpio energy has no problem going deep, being constantly in the shadows and feeling all the things. So if you're not used to being in that energy, it may be a little bit like a Tower energy for you, but it may just be like you're having a lot of visions or psychic insights, intuitive insights into what needs to go in your life, like what it could mean, possibly relationships ending, just things that don't need to be there. A lot of stuff coming to the surface. So, and the stuff that's coming to the surface is basically unconscious shadow stuff. So that can, like, for me, there's been some stuff coming up where I'm like, I had no idea that was still there, or that was even there. I thought And it's not that it doesn't have to be, and this is where you want to look at things objectively. That's that Uranus energy is, don't get upset with yourself or shame yourself if like, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know that was there. I didn't know I needed to do that. Just take it for what it is like, hey, it's showing you this doesn't need to be there in your life. Don't start beating yourself up over it and be like, I can't believe I didn't see it. Because that's kind of, it's not going to, it's not going to do you any good, basically. Oh, we have two 32s. So I'm using my Lenormand deck. First the 3, which is the boat. And then 32, which is the moon. It's funny, the moon came out, right? But this endings and beginnings is also a 32. So 3s represent fertility and creation. 2s represent love and harmony. And 3 plus 2 is a 5. And 5s represent change. So yes, that makes sense. Lots of change happening. And I will read these in a second. And then another 5. Dang. The tree, the holly tree. It's about putting down roots. It can also represent winter time. So something happening in the winter time. So whatever is coming up, so it's endings and beginnings, right? So you're going to be letting go of some illusions and some destroying foundations in your life that don't need to be there, whether that's just energetically or relationship wise or job wise, whatever it is, moving house, what it's going to be different for everyone. Whatever is ending, and then the new beginnings, that may mean that it's like you won't see the full manifestation of it until wintertime, because we are going into summer, so that's, you know, in the future. So it could mean that, but it could also just mean to go inward, like a time, winter is a time to go inward and be still and hibernate, reflect. So that I feel like that's a dual message. So it depends on your situation. But I want to look at the 3, the boat, real quick. I feel like I was saying something and I forgot. That happens a lot, obviously. If you watch me, you know. So it is about travel, exploring, venturing, navigating. So it can represent just like your journey in general as a soul here in living on Earth. Let me get the moon. So the moon in the tarot is intuition. It's about things that are hidden, secrets, emotions, emote, feel, intuit, dream. It's also a feminine energy. It says, just as the reflection of the sun's light by the moon is not the sun, so your emotions are not you. The emotions will change, yet your inner light continues to shine just as brightly. And though others' opinions of you may alter, you are still the person you choose to be. So it is getting you in touch with your emotions. Yeah, I want to get just a little, I am feeling unclear about. Well, you know, one more. Just, I want to get very clear, because sometimes I really have trouble. This is why I do these readings, is to help me put into words. Because the fucking clouds keep coming out, the confusion. Okay, so what I get is, one of the things that we're working through collectively, I think, for all of us, is to understand, or to allow us to maybe not understand. This is the thing. I don't know if we're supposed to actually understand fully our emotions or what's coming up, but that's why this clouds are about confusion or something being veiled, right? It's not clear. And this to me represents being grounded and embodied, like in your body. So putting down roots, like wherever you are, but like basically just being grounded in your own body, while you feel these emotions, because you kind of need to be grounded in order to fully feel everything you're feeling, especially if some intense stuff is coming up. And we're not necessarily supposed to fully get it, at least not right now. So I think we can, what's the word I'm looking for? We can avoid a lot of suffering if we stop trying to analyze to death our emotions, how we feel, what's coming up for me, why is it there? How about we just feel it, say, like allow it to be there and not question it. If you think about, I'm trying to put it into like a way that it can make sense. Think of, and again, I guess you can think of clouds as like your emotions, because I know that some people refer to like our thought forms as clouds, and just watching them pass by, but that can be a similar thing with our emotions. But if you think about, say a friend came over. Okay, so imagine that all of your emotions are different friends that you have, okay? And a friend came to your door and was just like, knocked on your door and was like, hey, I just want to hang out. I just want to, right? Friends seem to be an easy correlation, because depending on you and your friendships, we don't necessarily expect a lot from our friends, whereas we do with like our family. And it's like, yeah, I just want to hang out, just want to be here. And then when it's time for them to go, it's time for them to go. And there's no like, oh my God, where are you going? Don't leave me. Or, ew, I don't want you here. Get the fuck out. Right. And so think of it like that. That's how to treat our emotions. We're learning how to be like that with every single emotion, not just the good ones, not just the ones we're used to. And so you'll notice, like, which ones do I hold on to more, and do I not let go of because I'm so afraid it's never going to come back, or I don't let go of because it feels so comfortable, right? That's codependency. Because it feels like you can't get that thing again through yourself or whatever it is. And so that's where the being objective with your emotions, and what is coming up for you, that message is learning how to just treat your emotions, and what you're feeling as a friend that you have zero attachment to. And, not like badgering them, like, why'd you come over? What do you want? What are you doing here? Right? Like, do you think that your friend would want to stay? Or do you think that your friend would feel good if you did that to them? So imagine your emotions as an objective friend, an acquaintance, if you will. Someone you're close to, but not that close to where like you can separate yourself from them, and how you would treat them, right? And especially you think about, okay, how would I want to feel if I go over to a friend's house? Like, would I want to be questioned as soon as I walked in the door, to just hang out and just be there? Would I want my friend to be kicking me out or ignoring me while I'm there? Would I want my friend to not want me to leave and be very clingy and like, oh my God, please don't leave me? No. We wouldn't want any of that, if you're being honest with yourself. And if you do want that, and that's what you're used to, and basically that is your friendships, that's, to me, codependency. That is something to look at. That's an area to heal. And I think that's what it's pointing to. You look at which emotions do I do these unhealthy things with, and how can I be more objective and let them go? And especially with the intense ones, right? We can't ignore them. The more we ignore it, deny it, suppress it, push it away, it's just going to keep coming up. They're not going to go away, and stronger until we can't ignore it. So it's our resistance to it that basically causes us to suffer. So are you resisting the emotions that you feel? And especially around this very intense new moon, it's like, don't question it, whether it's going to be around for a day, an hour, 3 days, a week, hopefully not that long, but the easier it gets to let them go, and the shorter amount of time those intense ones will be there if you just allow it. And it's like noticing your patterns of how you resist it will also be really helpful, because then you'll stop yourself when you're doing it and be like, okay, yes, I feel you. I feel it. I'm letting it out. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to love you through it. And again, thinking of it as a friend, say you had a friend who was like, I'm really upset. I'm feeling really sad. And I get that our go-to sometimes is to try to fix it because we want people to feel better, but it's actually sometimes better to just listen to them. What do you need? Do you want me to just sit with me? Just sit with me until it goes. I'm thinking about that movie Inside Out. It's a Disney movie, Disney Pixar movie, where Sadness is sitting with, is it Bing Bong? And Joy is watching, and she's helping Bing Bong. Sadness is helping Bing Bong move through being upset. And then Joy's like, how did you do that? And she's like, I don't know. I just listened, right? I just sat there and listened. And I think that you're going to notice that our really intense emotions and the things we normally don't want to feel, maybe because as children we were punished for feeling such and expressing such big emotions, we're going to notice that all they really want us to do is just sit and feel it and be with them and not try to change it, not try to fix it, not try to push it away, not try to get mad at it, just love it, just see it for what it is, and from an objective place. Like love is actually very objective. It can be, right? It can be subjective and objective, but in general, I feel it's objective because we can love inanimate objects. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to move on because I feel that I've explained it to death. Let's start with the tarot. But that feels like a big message. I did an Instagram live with a friend the other day, I guess yesterday. And that was actually one of the things that came up. We were talking about mental health and how to be with people when they're experiencing something, a mental health kind of struggle. Whew, the Seven of Swords. Already we're doing it, guys. We're doing it. But we were talking about how most of the time that's all we really need and want is for people to sit and be with us while we're experiencing it, not trying to fix it or change it. And that we were, acknowledging that sometimes we do that to people because we just want to help, right? We're like, please let me help you. But that's not always helpful. And so it's about checking yourself and noticing that if you do that with other people, you're trying to fix their emotions, you're trying to make them feel better, that you most likely do that with yourself. And it's asking you to look at that. That's also why I think the hibernation and the reflection and going inward, and I really feel it's like being alone is called for during this new moon, and not to be very social, because intense stuff may come up. So that means you may not want to be around other people because of it. But it's also learning how to do it within yourself. And then that's where you then go practice with other people after you kind of practice doing it with yourself. And just noticing that if you do that. So I know that I bounce back and forth. It's just how my brain works. So thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so the first card is the Seven of Swords. And this is about deception or getting away with something. This is never a enjoyable card to pull in a spread. But again, it's about shattering these illusions, things that are not true, things that are not real. And swords represent air, which is our mind. So I really feel it's shattering all these thought forms, these conditioned beliefs we've taken on, and seeing which ones are real and which ones are not, like which ones make me feel good and which ones make me feel bad, and allowing them to be released. The Two of Wands is about making a decision. So it's weighing up your options and then choosing between those two. And this one, it doesn't necessarily look like he's made the decision yet. And I feel like this is on the other side of it, we have, excuse me, the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that used to be emotionally fulfilling for us, or we used to feel emotionally connected to. And we're putting it down and saying, I no longer need this or want this, and moving towards the Ten of Cups, which would be emotional fulfillment. And so I think that's the choice, is you're going to be presented with, being shown very clearly, this is coming up for you. What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to be deceived by your own mind, or by the stories that don't feel good? Or are you going to choose that, or are you going to choose to walk away from it? So that's the choice here that we're being given. The Two of Pentacles, another 2. This is about juggling, balance, having a lot on your plate, and knowing how to handle all of it together. And it's Pentacles, so it is like physical world stuff, 3D stuff, which can be about money. I feel you're going to feel more stable when you choose to walk away from those things that don't feel good, those thoughts that then turn into feelings that feel shitty. I want to get this message out, but it's difficult for me to put into words. It'll come back if it's meant to. So I feel like it's emotional mastery, because here we have the Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy, but it's about alchemy, emotional alchemy. It's also called the Angel of Patience. So it's learning how to be patient with yourself too, because I think that is something that we also expect of ourselves and each other in society, is to just be over something really quickly. And like our mind expects us to as well, because it's like our mind is like a computer, so it like wants to move on to the next thing, and it can move and process very quickly. So it's like we're like, oh, okay, you felt it, you understand why it's there, like just move on, right? But that's not how our body works. That's not how our emotions work. And sometimes to fully integrate it or to release the stuff out of our body, we need a little bit more time. And that's why I feel like the patience thing is coming up. In the juggling, right? It's like she's wearing point shoes, and she's balancing these 2 pentacles, and I'm sure she has to go back and forth like this in order to keep the balance. She is making it look effortless, but that's the thing, is it takes focus and practice in order to be able to do this. She's not standing on her flat feet. So that I feel like is a big message, is in that you're learning how to do it in your own way, within your own process. Like you're learning about your own process, and you're learning how to communicate to yourself and to others about, this is what I need when I'm experiencing this, or this is how, like you're basically learning how to be decisive too. That's again with the choosing energy. And being objective, like, we already talked about being objective with Uranus, and that is this card. He's decisive. He's discerning. What was the word I just used? Objective. Good Lord. He's objective. He knows how to detach from the emotion aspect of it. And she does too. Like, even though she's handling emotions here, like she's handling cups, which is water, our emotions, and she's alchemizing them, like turning them into something new, she's handling them. She's not, it's not like she's taking them on, is what I was trying to say. She's doing it objectively. The Ace of Wands. This is about creation, a spark of creation. It's about new beginnings. It could also be about passion. That was one thing that came up too, like with the astrological cards, is sexuality. I think it mentioned it in both cards. Like there could be some intense sexual stuff coming up. And the Ace of Wands definitely represents that. It's like a very phallic card and energy, which would be masculine. And I was talking about Scorpio energy. Scorpio is also very much that. Then we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, but it is about commitment, spiritual commitment, your higher commitments, your morals, your ethics, your values. And we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is about working hard at something. This is basically staying committed to your craft, whatever that craft is. I don't know where that came from. I don't say those. I don't know if I've ever said that before. It just came to my mind. Staying committed to your craft, because this is about creation, right? So it's not, we could easily get swept away with the whole very sexual, and it can get very deep and dark. So you want to be careful, right? You don't want to be treading waters of things that like, you don't want to get sucked into it, right? So it's like, sexual energy is creative energy, actually, because it's in our sacral chakra, which is which is your second chakra. And it, that's like where our genitalia are, our womb, all those good things. Sorry, my mind is just like confused by all these things. So that's where our sexual energy comes from, but it's also very our emotional center. So we store emotions there as well, which is probably why the sexual energy is ramping up, because it's meant to help us get that stuff out. So how can we do that? Is through sex, through masturbation, through self-pleasure. I like using that better, but getting that, it's a release, right? So we're being asked to release stuck energy. And how else you can do that is through channeling it through creative endeavors. So whatever you create, whether that's, actual physical art, or, like me, it's like creating these, writing, cooking, however it is, even exercise, sports, dancing, all of that stuff can be released and be considered creative energy. It's like your life force energy, that's what it is. It's when two people come together and their life force energy in the form of sperm and an egg comes together, creates life, right? Spontaneously creates life. So you're being asked to, if you feel all of this, to channel it into what you're committed to already. So any creative passion projects you already have, it's asking you to do that, rather than just like numbing out and pleasuring yourself all day long. Not to say you can't do that, some of that as well, but it's not necessarily going to be useful, right? It's like the energy we hold there is super powerful. Like I said, it's our life force energy. This is why I teach the embodied pussy wisdom stuff and do that stuff to help women tap into that and realize that it's either dormant, it's not awakened fully, or they're utilizing it in some way that may not necessarily serve them or the people around them, or they're giving it away to people, right? We're giving our power away. Like, our life force is our power. So men and women both have that, and we're being asked to channel it into creative energy now, and we're learning how to do that. So we have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy, but again, this is going back to the tree, the holly, going inward, self-reflection, deliberately isolating. I'm not isolating, sorry, it's solitude. It's different. Isolating is when you're doing it like out of shame and you don't want to be seen or heard, or you don't want anyone to bother you. But solitude is like empowering that choice, like empowering to be alone, to be self-reflective, to come to your own conclusions. We're really being asked to do that right now, to figure out, it's not to figure out. There's not a lot of swords here. They have the King of Swords, yes, but I don't feel like our mind is not going to be running the show here. We're allowing our bodies to. So our emotions, how we feel, and our creative sexual energy, our life force energy. Because we have the King of Wands. So we have two masculine energies so far coming out. The King of Wands is that passionate, fiery, alpha. He knows what he wants and he goes after it. You'll see that it's basically the same wand that he's holding in this card. It could also represent fire signs. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We did have Sagittarius energy already come out. But he knows how to channel that energy. So we're learning how to do that. Whether you're a man or a woman, male or female, whatever you identify with, it's just that energy. And I feel like it's the reason kings are showing up, because masculine energy, right? It represents masculine energy, which is very directive. It's action oriented. It is protective, and they can be more objective than women, because we're meant to feel more, and they tend to be more objective. So we're learning how to do that. and not get swept away with our emotions, especially these very intense ones, that if we don't create that objective space for us to observe them and release them, it could take us down. Like literally it could. The Eight of Wands, yeah, see a lot of fiery energy. And the Eight of Wands is very quick movement forward. It's known as the arrows of love also, but eights are about manifestation. We've had 3 eights already. The Eight of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups have come out. So eights are about manifestation. So it's about physically bringing something into the world. Something wants to be created and birthed. And new moons are about new beginnings. Planting seeds. Strength, that's Leo energy. So we have a lot of fire out, but it's about taming your inner beast. Developing your inner strength, basically, to, yeah, I feel like it's just mastery over yourself. Like all the ways that you maybe used to numb or avoid, or like I said, using sex, drugs, food, porn, shopping, what else? Like alcohol, any of that stuff that we maybe used to use to numb out these feelings or to lessen it. Excuse me, I'm releasing. That's what we're taming. We're learning how to channel that energy into something creative, creation, instead of something that is more destructive. This is intense energy. I'm the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups can be about having a lot of options, but it's about fantasy also. See, because again, we have the Seven of Swords, which is about deception, and now we have the Seven of Cups, which can be about illusions and fantasy and what isn't real. So I want to see if that's what this is pointing to is and well, yeah, that's what I get, is the inner strength that I was just talking about with the Seven of Cups, is learning how to not give in to the stuff, like the illusions that were being shown. However that shows up for you. Ah! Hold on. There's a shitload of cards that came out. So what were your coping strategies, basically, that you maybe developed as a child that kept you from, what did you romanticize? Like, we've possibly romanticized abuse because we were so used to it as children. Abuse, neglect, or chaos and conflict. We romanticized it, and as children took it on and told ourselves stories about, well, because our mom, our dad, or whoever in our lives, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparents, treated us a certain way, but we still needed them. We had to be around them 24/7 because as children we didn't have a choice, and we still needed them to survive. Basically, we needed that connection, that love. So we romanticized it. Oh, there's one that's flipped over. I didn't realize. And would tell stories of, like, not actually see it for what it is, not actually acknowledge that's fucked up and no one deserves to be treated that way, or this isn't healthy and this is actually pretty toxic. So, we can do that with our past and how people showed up. And I think we're seeing that the illusions are being shown to us in terms of how we used to romanticize certain behaviors that people would, how they treated us or how we have behaved. And now we're kind of like, oh shit, like that's actually not the best. And so it's about having to not give in to those things, and to make peace with it also, and to acknowledge it for what it is. So say you've demonized, it can go both ways. Say you've demonized somebody in the past for how they treated you, and you never really allowed yourself to see the good or the light side. It could be about that, right? It's like, it wasn't all bad, it wasn't all this, or it's allowing you to see like maybe why they acted this way, and it's allowing you to see both sides of the situation, not saying that what they did was okay or not letting go of the hurt it caused you, but You're owning the fact that, okay, like, I see why I needed to go through this, and letting that kind of stuff go. And then it can be the opposite, which is you maybe didn't see the negative side of like how somebody treated you, and you're like, wow, I totally took on all of the blame and thought I was the one who was the problem this whole time. But, you know, yes, I own that I had a part in it. However, that person also, like, they're not all great, right? They're not just a good person. Like, they fucked up too. And so it's acknowledging both sides of it, and seeing just letting go of the illusions, and not romanticizing or demonizing, where we maybe didn't see things for the entire picture. I hope that makes sense. And now we have Libra energy, which is justice. But this is about balance, also like balancing of the karmic scales. So that's what I feel like I was just explaining, is balancing. You're able to see both sides of it, basically. That is what, if you think about legal matters, because that's what justice can represent, and courtroom and a judge and a jury, right? We're looking at both sides, and it's arguing both sides and who's right and who's wrong. We're not necessarily coming to a conclusion that there is no right and wrong in this case. It's just balancing of the scales. So where you weren't noticing something before, whether that was you weren't noticing the good or you weren't noticing the bad, quote unquote, it's now allowing you to see that it's being revealed to you, in order for you to let go of something that you didn't realize you were still holding on to. So the High Priestess, which is intuition. It's about hidden knowledge and secrets. I mean, basically everything I was just saying, like things being revealed. Six of Cups, past nostalgia, things from our childhood. But it is about happiness too. Ooh. And the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles, it can be about being guarded or holding on to something too tightly. So I do feel there's just something from the past, and it's stemming from childhood that we've been holding on to that we didn't realize. And the reason it's coming up in a love and relationship reading is because it's affecting us, how we operate in love relationships. Let's get a few more, and then I'm going to get some oracle cards. And the Four of Cups, another four. The Four of Cups is about being discontent, not liking what you're being offered. It's about not noticing too, like, what real love is. Maybe you've never really experienced it, or you're realizing, oh, shoot. Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. Yeah. No, actually, what I get is it's not you. It's you never really realizing how to love yourself fully because of the stuff that you've experienced in the past, and you allowed the way people treated you, or the reflections you got from other people, to determine how you felt about yourself, and that's what's shifting. Here's a Page of Pentacles, which is about messages coming through. This is the Ace of Cups, which is about self-love, filling your own cup. The Star, Aquarius energy. But it's about hope, healing, wishing on a star. Really is about childlike wonder as well. Like looking up at the stars and hoping and praying and wishing for your true love, or whatever it is you want in your life. But as children, it's usually love, right? Okay, the fourth eight has come out. All four eights are out. The Eight of Swords. Feeling stuck, trapped in our head. But the thing about it is we can easily get out of it if we so choose. So what is this Eight of Swords about? They want to tell me. The Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving action card. He is methodical, he's reliable, he's stable, but he moves very slowly because he takes his time to think about where he's going before he actually heads there. And the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is about love, with another person, sharing your cup with another person. Two people who have mastered they both have their Ace of Cup in hand, each has filled their own cup, and now they're sharing it with each other. That's that energy. So what I get is, and I feel like this picks up on one of the last love and relationship readings I did. At the end, I was talking about allowing yourself to believe in the love that you used to dream about as a child and believe that it's still possible. Because, and yeah, believe that it's still possible because it is. But the thing about it is that if it could show up, or when it does show up, you may just need to move very slowly into it, because you are, like, this Eight of Swords is going to be like, your mind's going to kind of feel stuck believing it to be true. Like you're still learning how to believe it. And it's only because you haven't experienced it before. So, the Knight of Wands. Yes, you've probably experienced a lot of this, which is, it's like the Casanova. He's very charming. He's going to come in and sweep you off your feet, but he's going to leave just as quickly. He doesn't stay very long. It's wands, so it's fire, passion. It's like you're just used to it being just only a sexual attraction and not love, or it not lasting too long. And there's that fear that it's just going to be the same old thing. Because actually what I get is that this person, because I feel like these are two different people and energies, this person is going to actually take their time and want to go slow, and you're going to be like, what? You want to just date me? You don't want to like try to get me in bed right away? You want to talk and get to know me? You know, it's going to be one of those energies. And then the Death card is Scorpio energies coming out, but it's about transformation. Death and rebirth. I feel like in order for this to happen, I feel like you're going to have to experience this person coming to you and displaying something that you've not really ever experienced before, but it's all everything you've wanted, or how you like expected love to be. Like the way that you see in Disney movies, the princes or the kings treating the princesses, the queens, which is with respect, and they're courting them and they're bringing them presents, and they're like, it's about respect. Like you're not used to possibly partners being respectful and not just trying to get into your pants, or, you know, get you into bed, or just be like a quick fling for right now. And because the thing about the Knight of Pentacles is he's loyal and trustworthy because he takes his time and decides. He didn't just jump into it. Like, that's the thing, is if this person's coming at you and they are like, I just want to get to know you and I want to court you, and they already know what they want with you, it's like through that is how this transformation is going to happen for yourself, where you're going to be able to finally put all of that in the past. Like whatever is wrapping up for you in this new moon solar eclipse, it's allowing you to put whatever happened, however you used to have relationships, all the karmic cycles that you went through, it's being put to bed, put to rest. Because this person's showing up in the way that you've always wanted somebody to show up for you. And you're going to go through this period of like, is this real? Is this, can I trust this? Is he fucking with me? The world. Yeah. The world is about travel, but it is, basically your soul's journey, traveling through all of these experiences and evolution. So this is coming to the completion. It's the last card in the major arcana, completion of this cycle. Like this is a major cycle that's wrapping up for you through this new moon energy. in terms of love and relationships and how you've experienced them in the past, if you can allow yourself to let go of whatever's coming up during this time, you're not going to be experiencing anything like you've ever experienced in the past. And it's going to be so brand new that you're going to question it. But I also don't think you will, because there's a part of you that will, right? But that's just our mind being like, but I think because you've been mastering your own emotions, it's going to be easier than you think. And especially because this person who's going to be coming into your life will be consistent, reliable. They're going to show you, not tell you. And you basically are allowing them to show you. And it's just like, you can just feel it. I just get this feel, like, that's why we're also being asked to just feel, so that when this person comes in, we've been practiced in knowing what's meant for us and what's not. And when we can just feel the difference when someone's being inauthentic and when someone isn't. I hope it's making sense the way it's coming across. Peace. I feel like this is, and it's a 23, which is 5, so change. This person's being in their presence is going to have an overwhelming feeling of peace. And that's also how you know that somebody is good for you, is if you feel safe, if you feel at ease, if you feel peaceful in their presence. That's how you know that they're good for you and that you can open up to them. Oh, to be fair, this is also another very Libra, it's Libra energy again. To be fair, you see she has the scales of justice there. Well, I want to say that, maybe it's a Libra. I know Libra came up a lot before, I think in one of the other readings, or the last one. So maybe I'm trying to get the message. I'm like, maybe it's just a Libra. I don't know. Could be a Libra. But it could also just be that this person is very balanced. And being with them is what they're like. This is why you want to be really clear when they come in how they feel, and if you to get into relationship with them or not, because they're going to be it's like the nail in the coffin for what you're wrapping up. So like the full healing, and I said this in one of my other readings, the full healing is going to happen in relationship with them. So you have to be able to be open and experience and say yes to the relationship in order for this karmic cycle to end on the other side, right? So endings and beginnings happen simultaneously. So as this new beginning happens, because you're saying yes to this new beginning, that's how the ending is going to happen. So it's almost like, don't expect that you have to end something first, or you have to be alone and be fully healed before you can be in relationship with this person, or before they're going to come in. Like, I feel like it's coming soon. And whenever it's meant to you, right, if you resonate with it, and in you opening up and saying yes to this relationship and starting to date them and be open to them, that's what is going to cause the balance to occur within the ending and the beginning. I hope that makes sense. New life, yeah. And then we have, and it's the one right after. It's new life. I feel like they're going to feel like a breath of fresh air for you, something you've never experienced before, which is amazing. But I get that's also scary. If like the unknown is very scary. Ooh, Kali Ma. Kali Ma, facing fear. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. So she is known as the goddess of death and rebirth, transformation. You see that she has a bunch of skulls around her neck because she slays human egos, and she's often depicted holding men's heads, like severed heads from their bodies, because that's what she represents. She is, and she's also known as the mother of the universe, because mothers have both sides. We have a destructive and a creative ability. So it's like that saying that our moms would say, like as a joke, like, I created you, I can something like, you've heard that before. I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. It's that kind of energy, but it's necessary, because she's really about shattering illusions, things that aren't taking away things about us that we, like, our ego identifies with, or something that's not really who we are as our soul here, or what we're meant to experience. Is like, she removes all that stuff, and it's not going to be comfortable. It's often painful, but it's needed. And like it says, major spiritual changes are unfolding. So if you're on this spiritual path, this is what it's supposed to be, for you. Like, we kind of have to experience this stuff. And that's how you can also get to that objective place where you can look at it and say, okay, this is just for my own growth and evolution. And then we have Diana, which is focused intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, expect the best possible outcome. So simultaneously, endings and still working on the new beginnings. It's like, we're going to be learning how to do both at the same time. It's all happening at the same time. It's not one or the other. I mean, maybe it is. It's like, at this moment you're focusing on this, but it really doesn't feel like that. It's like all in the same thing. It's like, I just gave that example of when you start to be in relationship with this person, even though you don't feel like you're fully healed, in being in a relationship, this new beginning is what's going to then end your healing, or have your healing come to full completion, right? So we're doing both at the same time. It's not one or the other. It's all at the same time. And that's what this new moon is showing us. And I'm going to shut up now, because it's almost an hour long reading. And I hope that this was helpful. If you'd like to work with me, you can visit my website, empoweringauthenticity.com, and schedule your own reading. If you have any questions, please email me. And yeah, I'm sending you so much love. And I hope this is not too uncomfortable for you. But if you need support of any kind, you know where to find me. All right, bye.